God damn, I got a bad haircut. F you, Great Clips. Today, I'm testing this, the Solar Eclipse Race Edition. So the Race Edition is an upgraded version of the standard 72-volt Solar Eclipse, a bike that I'm very familiar with. In fact, I actually raced it at Ride It Fast back in 2023. I finished second, but if I had this thing, I would have won it for sure and clinched that $5 plastic first place trophy. It means a lot to me and my fragile ego, okay? So the Race Edition comes with a lot of upgraded stuff over the standard 72 volt. Most importantly is the carbon fiber frame. This thing is now super lightweight. You get a carbon fiber frame, swing arm, wheels, and it's also a bit more powerful. The claimed top speed on this is around 65 mile an hour. The battery is a 72 volt, 45 amp hour unit. Now, unlike the rest of its competition, I like how Solar stuck with the supermoto concept for this bike. No other manufacturer is really doing that right now, and it's great to see. It also helps with the fact that this thing is fully street legal. Now, I've not seen one of these plated before, but I'm just gonna take their word for it. But anyway, as a prototype bike, take all my criticisms with a grain of salt. Hopefully they'll fix a lot of the small issues by the time this thing is ready to go on sale. And when they do, it's gonna be $6,700. So let's take it for a test ride, do a range test, hot speed test, all the good stuff, and see if it's gonna be worth all that money. There's a vehicle coming by. Yeah, she didn't wave at me. It's probably the bad haircut, dude.
All right, Solar claims the top speed on the Race Edition to be 65 plus mile an hour. So let's see if that's true. Here we go, full throttle. Front wheel didn't come up at all, which is nice, I guess. Not exactly a wheelie bike, but here we go. Now, odometer is saying 80 mile an hour. I doubt that, but it is definitely pretty quick. I'd say I'm doing about 60. Maybe even more than 60, close to 70. 83 on the dash. 84. All right, that's as quick as I'm going. Whoa! That regen is intense. That was a jump scare right there. That was like Jason jumping out the bushes with a machete. The dash did 84 mile an hour, and the GPS that I'm having right here told you the actual top speed. I'm guessing that was more like 65, maybe closer to 70. They definitely got to fix that, man, because not only is that not true, it's not even like a good lie. That's like me telling a girl I'm 6'5" when I'm clearly 5'10". Another thing that I'm noticing is that the throttle is kind of weird. It feels like it's just on or off. Like there isn't much of an actual curve to it. Now again, this is prototype. There's hopefully some more changes gonna come, but you see that right there? There's no difference to how the throttle curve is. It's just on or off. There's also a slight lag between on or off. Yeah, that's gonna need some work. All right then, what else are you getting for your money on this bike? One of the first things you'll notice is this regen lever right here. Now, I don't know how much people would actually use something like this. It definitely feels very strange. I don't know, some people might like it. Moving on, you get a key fob and a push button start, just like my Mazda, which is a compliment. I love my Mazda. You're getting much bigger and more robust brakes back here, bigger caliper, bigger rotor, and yeah, these brakes are awesome. I think that's a fantastic feature. I'm glad they spent the money on that because it does make a huge difference. I love these carbon fiber wheels, and also they picked the perfect size for a bike like this, man. 16-inch front, 16-inch rear. However, these tires are definitely not what I would use. First thing I would do if I owned this bike, we swap those tires out, get some Bridgestone battle axes, and it would just dramatically change the handling of this bike. I'd have so much more confidence on the road with some better tires. The suspension on this is pretty much the same mountain bike-esque suspension that you see on every other bike in this class. For what this bike is meant to do and how lightweight it is, it feels perfectly fine for me. You also get a house phone. Obviously, the main selling point is that carbon fiber frame. It weighs about 138 pounds, that's what Solar claims. However, the carbon fiber frame is very expensive to make and is the main reason as to why this bike is priced at $67.99. Now, unfortunately, because of the price tag, this bike does find itself in an extremely competitive spot in the market. I mean, you got the Rivet Anthem up there, you got the Surron Light Bee, you got the new Altis that's almost $1,000 cheaper than this thing. Ultimately, the market is going to decide if people do want to buy something like this for that kind of money, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes for them. All right then, so with top speed and specs out the way, what does this bike actually like to ride? Well, the first thing you'll notice when you get on this thing is how low these foot pegs sit. Now, I don't think I've ridden a bike in this class that has foot pegs or rear sets that sit this low And for a street bike, it's a really good idea. And I'd say if you're a taller guy and you find the other bikes just a bit too cramped, this might be a good fit for you. Another thing you'll notice is that this motor is very noisy. Me personally, I've got tinnitus, and the pitch of it just goes right into my eardrums, man. It can be real uncomfortable at times. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing earplugs at the moment. I have to. Solar did try to market this bike as a dirt bike a little while ago. And the truth is, man, with that motor being in the vulnerable position it's in, and the riding position and how low the foot pegs sit, it's just not a good off-road design. The competition like the E-Ride, the Surron, the Talaria, frankly just do off-road so much better. However, this does feel very at home and very comfortable on the street, so I'm glad Solar stuck with that concept. Now, I've already mentioned the tires on this thing, and that is probably one of the biggest letdowns as far as equipment goes on this bike. For something that costs as much as this does, it should come with better tires than that. Now, I did give Solar some feedback, especially on the throttle, and they did say that for the production version, they have fixed it. Now, obviously, I've not tested the production version, so I'm just gonna take their word for it. But that's great news. If they have fixed this thing and it feels a lot better than it currently does, that's good news. It's such a key ingredient to these electric bikes to make sure that throttle feels natural and predictable. Because in this bike's current state, yeah, sure, it's powerful and everything, but you don't really have much control over what that back wheel is doing. Now, power is one thing, and this thing definitely has power. The 67 mile an hour top speed, the 0 to 30 in 3 seconds, that's all very impressive and everything, but how is the range? Now, I've done 2 range tests on this bike. I will be honest, I haven't done from 100 to 0, but I've done 100 to 50% and 85% down to about 30. And both times, doing just like regular normal street riding like I would do with a motorcycle, I got about 21 miles. And again, that's not going all the way to 0. I would say with just normal, regular style street riding, not being too cautious, not being too aggressive, you could probably get 35 miles out of this. And I'll tell you what, man, the alarm on this thing doesn't fuck around. So if you push the lock button on the key fob, you now have the world's most sensitive alarm activated. If someone walks past and has a slight thought, a brainwave about even touching this bike, it's gonna know and fucking sound the alarm. It is so sensitive, which as far as security goes is a good thing, but if you accidentally bump into it inside the garage, prepare to have your eardrums blown off. So if you're gonna be parking this thing inside, I wouldn't recommend locking it. Now, we'll come to no surprise that when you're riding about on this thing, man, that weight is noticeable. This is probably one of the most unique feeling bikes in this class, especially with that carbon fiber frame. It's just so flickable. It almost feels fake. Yeah, it's definitely the lightest 72 volt e-moto by far. It's so light that I'm not going to trigger this traffic sensor. Yeah, on one of my range tests, I took this thing on some twisty roads in the hills of Redlands, and it really is such a fun handling bike. I just wish I had more confidence in the tires. And I'll keep banging on about them, man, but like, God, I just wish I had some better tires on this thing. Overall, man, this is a powerful bike that has really good range, and with a couple of tweaks, a couple of important tweaks, I might add, this could be a really good bike. By the way, if you want to check out more riding footage on this bike, I am going to be uploading a full 10-minute range test I did this week. Talked lots of shit, had a great time. It's a fun video, so subscribe to the channel, and it'll be up in the next couple weeks or so. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect when I picked up this bike. I know when Surron tested this very bike, it broke down on them, just no throttle, no drive. And I'm happy to report throughout all my testing with this thing, I haven't had any reliability issues. Overall, with some simple tweaks, some better parts, and yeah, just a bit more attention to detail and quality control, it could be a really great bike. I think the price is just too high. $67.99 is a lot of money for this, even though it's carbon fiber and Ferrari red. It looks really cool and everything. It's just a lot of money, especially considering how good the competition is these days. Now, they did tell me that they are going to be dropping the price of this by $1,000 for the month of November. So if this does appeal to you, you want to own something like this, now would be the time to do it. If they just stuck with the aluminum frame, put some better brakes, some better tires, and not like crazy brand name stuff, just better stuff all around and an attention on quality control, the aluminum frame will be just fine. Sell that at $5,200-$5,500. I think a lot of people will like it. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to drop some feedback. I really want to make sure I'm delivering the best, most fun, informative e-moto content I can possibly deliver. So any feedback would be awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll see you all next time.